Thank you, Sophia. This is a really exciting day. And let me start by thanking our county executive for bringing all of this together. And this is exciting on a number of levels. I mean, first of all, the vision itself is very compelling. And I think this, the idea of the Innovation District, but really focusing on economic development, on housing, and on innovation through the new state-of-the-art library. This is a holistic vision for this community. And I think that alone is worthy of a real celebration. The substantive thought that has gone into this is very compelling. And I think it's something that's easy for all of us to grasp onto. And I think we can all envision the transformation that it means for this community. And one of the things I like most about as we think about how all this fits together, I was reading the article this morning and I read what County Councilman Street had to say, sort of reflecting on the strength of this community and the surrounding area, and what this area has meant literally for decades to people who have lived here. This is an area with an incredibly proud history and a proud legacy. Now, it's one that has gone through some challenging times. So the question is, how do we get back to what we had before? And the answer, this is what I think is so exciting, the answer of how we get back and we have a strong future, just as we've had a strong past, is not about looking backwards. And there's nothing about this plan that looks backwards. It's saying that we're going to have a state-of-the-art, it's more than just a library, but a state-of-the-art center that is, as Sophia said, is the catalyst for economic development and for housing and how all of that will fit together. So I think that is very exciting. The other part that I think is really worthy of some celebration is how all this comes together. Now, there's no question that having the county executive with the vision, having the members of council supporting and pushing that vision is critical. It would not happen without. And I appreciate the mention of both the State Housing Authority as well as the state's investment in libraries, because the funding, it wouldn't happen without the funding. But I think what gives us at the state, it certainly gives me as governor, the confidence to recommend to the members of the General Assembly, who are obviously critical to all that is happening. What gives me the confidence is not just the fact that the elected officials and the staff of the county administration is on board. It's really the fact that the members of this community are making this happen. And that is where the real strength always exists. The strength does not come, this is sort of the irony, that it's those of us who are sitting up here who get to, stand in front and receive the applause and get to speak. But frankly, the way this ought to work is we're sitting down there, and the members of the community who were introduced ought to be sitting up here. Because it is your conviction. It is your conviction, it is your stick-to-itiveness. Many of you I know have lived here for decades, and you've seen the ups and the downs. But you have a vision for another long up run. And you're the reason that this is going to happen. And so when I look out and see this awesome crowd, and I look, the great thing about Delaware, it's not just about talking, like there were a couple hundred people at Rose Hill on a Wednesday morning. We know each other. And when I look out and I see elected officials and representatives from the federal, and I think Molly McGarrett from Congressman Carney's office is here as well, but when I see representatives of our entire congressional delegation, when I see a number of state officials from both the executive branch and from the legislature, when I see the leader of the area, the superintendent of the area school district, when I see the phenomenal turnout of all the county folks, I see businesses, I see the not-for-profit community, and most important, I see all of you. That's what's going to make this successful. Congratulations.
Next, we'll have remarks from the man of the hour, my favorite guy, County Executive Thomas P. Gordon.
We've got a great team that sits behind me, and we can't afford not to get this right. This governor has been bringing us out of the greatest recession since 2008, and the county is such a small part of this. Really, a lot of the housing, the money that comes from all that, the policing. But what I was most impressed about, and he takes the least credit for, was after 10 years coming back, and I saw that all of a sudden, in my area, how do you get libraries to go from books to computers and technology? Well, somewhere during his term, the governor said, I'm going to provide money for technology. We have the largest broadband in the country. Now that means a lot to some. To me, I had to understand it. It means we have the best ability to use technology that's already been paid for and built by the government. What that's going to allow is everybody's going to be doing innovation centers, because he's forcing you to move from books to readers to advanced computers to everything's going to be a smartphone. And he did that. Somebody said, show me your budget and I'll show you your priorities. So this is how it happens, and we're going to take forward. We're going to show him what we can do with that broadband. And every one of those kids that aren't going to school have smartphones. If you make it exciting and you show them that you can come in and have a music room, and we're going to show you how to do the coding that'll allow your guitar to make better music, they're going to learn computers. So I thank the governor first. I got a great team with Margaret, with JJ, and I won't tell you the first speech that I got from when I took my office the first day, and JJ called me up and told me what I had to do first. We'll clean it up. But this is his. I think when this is done, he's going to retire, because it means that much to him. So I'm just trying to take advantage of what the governor did and what I'm told this council we should have had this learning center, this innovation center a long time ago, and it will be the best in the country that they had built. And I thank you all for coming.
Next, we'll hear from State Senator for this area, Senator Margaret Rose Henry.
Well, good morning. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of our civic associations on the Route 9 corridor. We're so proud of you, because you're our inspiration for what has happened here today. You've told us relentlessly that we need economic development, we need education, we need revitalization of this area, and it's coming to fruition because you've pushed us and you've encouraged us. So I'm not going to give the speech that the governor already gave, because he stole my speech. I'm just going to say this is about hope and opportunity for all of us. I met business owners, I met community leaders, I met people who live in the area. And what we want to do is make it such an awesome place that new people will want to come in and be our neighbors. So we're just so grateful for all of you and all of your support. Thank you so much.
And now we'll hear from the state representative for the area, Representative J.J. Johnson.
Governor Markell, County Executive Tom Gordon, my fellow elected officials here. Let me begin by saying that Jay Street mentioned when I first came in and called me his running mate. We've been not only running mates, but we've been working together for the last 10 years. But I have a bone to pick with Councilman Street this morning. Everybody get a copy of the paper? Did you get a chance to read the article about the revitalization in the Route 9 corridor? Well, last week, Councilman Street called me. He said, we're going to have a news reporter that wants to ride around the neighborhood and see the community because he's going to write an article about the project we're working on. And he said, you know, as always, I want you to be a part of that. He said, we've been working together for 10 years and I want to make sure you're a part of that. So I came over here early. Made sure I waited for Councilman Street. He called me up, said, we're running a little bit late, but we'll be there. So when he finally got here with the news reporter, he said, well, who's going to drive? I said, well, I'll drive around. He said, well, you got gas? I said, oh, yeah, I got plenty of gas. So we rode around the neighborhoods. Rose Gate, Dunleavy, Oakmont, Halton Park, College Lane, rode all over the area. Spoke to the news reporter at length, telling him what we felt about the neighborhood. And if you look at the paper this morning, you'll never see my name mentioned. I burned a can of gas and didn't get mentioned. But I'll forgive you, Jay. We have worked together for the last 10 years addressing issues in the area. And I envision it as trying to fix potholes when actually the street needs revitalization. And I think this is an effort to revitalize the whole area. I also would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Colonel Elmer Settings, as well as former Colonel McGowan. They worked with us in addressing the quality of life issues in this area. Matter of fact, I think Elmer Settings was a sergeant or lieutenant at the time when you first were Brown. And we tried to address the quality of life issues in the area. But it was like putting Band-Aids on a sore. We were not really able to address it. This effort will change the whole dynamic. It's a vision that my colleague Jay Street has had for years, and I'm glad that he made me a part of that. And I hope he doesn't leave me out on the dedication of the library. But in all sincerity, I appreciate even being here this morning. You know, I also want to give a shout out to, we had an issue here for the last 6 or 7 years, and probably if anybody lived in the area, they knew about the municipal compost, the odor we complained about. That's an issue that I was working on for more than 6 years, trying to address it. But I couldn't get any traction without the help of the community and the Route 913 corridor ad hoc committee. And the president of that committee is standing here. I mean, he's not standing. You can't tell if he's standing or not. Lee Jarman, will you stand? I couldn't get any traction into the community guys behind it. And that's what it's all about. They say, and I might be stealing a line from Marcus Henry, because I saw he was quoted in the paper talking about this effort will be like building a village. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes like-minded people working together to build a village. And it takes an effort from all concerned. And I want to thank everybody that's taken part in us building this village. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next we'll hear from County Council Member J.P. Street.